Hey there, how's it going today? Okay, so I'm going to talk about an idea that I've been recently exploring and putting to use, and it's the idea of rituals. Okay, so I'm going to start off by kind of giving a little bit of a riddle, and then kind of show how that riddle, the meaning behind it, plays into modern society, and then I'm going to give a practical real-world example of a tribe that I referenced to a couple weeks ago who has very, very strong rituals and what it does for their lifestyle. Okay, so first off, the question that I'm going to ask: what happens when you drop a known life form into an unknown environment? Okay, so to expand on that a little further, what I mean by that is this was a question that scientists were really, really exploring, and they were extremely curious about the first time we went to the moon. So we live here in this known environment, and we have a certain amount of gravity that's always putting a pressure on us. We actually have to expend calories in order to kind of push against that pressure. Right? That's like walking and stuff like that. So we were very, very curious, what is going to happen when you take us out of this environment where our bodies don't need to work to push against gravity anymore? What is going to happen when we do that? Is all of our calories that we eat just going to go straight into our mind and our body, and is it going to make us much more healthy? That's what they thought. But what we found out with that little experiment is actually when they came back from like months in zero gravity, it was actually like they had aged decades. Just in that short amount of time, they had aged so much. Their bones were frail. Some of their sweat glands had kind of closed up. Their taste buds had deteriorated away. Their muscles were gone. A lot of people came back with depression. Their brains were kind of effed up, and we're very, very curious about it. And kind of the conclusion, what we learned about our brains, or what we learned about ourselves during that experiment, is actually kind of connecting the dots to something that we already knew. Okay, and this is the idea that our brains are an efficiency machine within our bodies. So anytime we're doing a task, our brain is asking the question, what is the least amount of energy that I can put forward to get the most result in return? Okay, and so when we went off into space and we didn't have all this pressure grounding us here on Earth, our brains kind of checked out. We're like, hey, we don't need to spend any energy standing or doing any normal daily activities. We can just kind of coast along. And it literally just shut off so many switches within our brain that, like I said, their brains kind of just turned off a little bit, and that led to depression. Their brain said you don't need to exert very much energy throughout the day, and so that made our muscles deteriorate. Just all these things snowballed and really, really kind of effed with our human body. The fact that we didn't have that constant pressure applied to us. And so that pressure is going to be kind of the example of what I'm going to use for this idea of rituals. Okay, so basically the whole meaning behind it is we now live in a society that makes it very, very easy for you to get what you want with the snap of a finger, with a push of a button. It's very, very easy for you to get that instantaneous result without having to put a lot of work into it. And what I hope through this video that I can kind of just push on to you is this idea that it's good to be applying that pressure to you, and it's good to be working maybe much harder than you need to get that end result, because that process is what makes that end result so enjoyable. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple examples of this. Let's just say, for instance, that you are a maybe fairly socially awkward guy. You've got a decent group of friends, but when it comes to actually going out and trying to get a girlfriend, you have this certain amount of fear that when you see a pretty girl walking by, you can't just go up and confidently talk to her and be able to kind of build attraction instantly. There's just something holding you back from doing that. Okay, so there's two options that you can go to in modern society. Option number one, you can pull out your phone, you can download an app called Tinder, and you can just swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe, and then message them and, hey, you down, and just like, you can just send the same bullshit message, and the odds are one of these girls is gonna say, okay, I haven't had very many guys in my life recently, and you're kind of cute, so sure. And you get together and you hook up, and that's your girlfriend. That's option number one. Now, does that sound easy? That sounds pretty nice, actually. Snap of a finger and get sex, get an instant girlfriend. Okay, option number two, you can, like I said, maybe you're not such a sociable guy, and you've got that fear. Option number two is you can force yourself to go out at night for 4 to 5 nights a week, and you can get rejection after rejection after rejection and go through tons of pain and learn the correct things to say and learn what it means to be a confident dude and learn how to build attraction just off of being you. And you can go through this for months at a time before you finally find a girl who you guys have the chemistry together to be able to ask her to be your girlfriend. Okay, which option are you going to take? Your brain is telling you, go the easy route. Go the easy route and just get it instantly. But we live in a society where I think what's going to separate people, what's going to separate the winners from the losers, is the ones who apply those pressures on themselves day in and day out to be the better version of themselves every single day. Okay, so that was just one example. There's tons of examples in society. I could go into Chegg within the education realm, what Chegg and various like YouTube tutors do, or within a fraternity, when you've got your fraternity may have tons of tests that they've printed out from like past years, and there's just so many tools around you in school to be able to make it just so easy for you to kind of get that instant result, get that high B, something like that, without having to put in a lot of work and actually internalize the information. So there's just very, very many things within society that make it so easy for you to kind of get an easy result. But what you need to be doing is setting certain rituals within your daily life so that you are comfortable when you walk into a bar and you can talk to any girl you want. You are comfortable when you walk into that classroom and you've got to take that test and you know it inside and out. When you go into the job interview, wherever you're going, when you're going on a run, if you practice certain rituals day in and day out, then you'll be confident to be able to get that result when it actually matters, right? Okay, so what I'm going to go into next here is actually, this was a example that I gave last week, or 2 weeks ago when I did my running video. This is the Tarahumara tribe, and they live in the Copper Canyons in Mexico. And the reason why I connect so well with this tribe is they use their body as the weapon of living. They use their body to run down their animals. They use their body to go introspective and be spiritual. They use their body to let loose and have fun. And they're so good at like each area of their life. I believe they're one of the most spiritually enlightened people. And it really, really comes off in the results they get when they want to go on a run, when they want to have fun, when they want to kind of give back to their religion, or when they want to, go introspective. They're really, really, really good in all areas of their life. And I believe the root of that is because they practice certain rituals day in and day out. I'm not going to bore you getting too deep into the rituals. You can look them up if you're interested. But a couple of them are raramari. So this is when they, that's the word for running people. And that's kind of what they call themselves. And it's basically when they go on a hunt. They'll go on these 200-mile hunts, and they'll run down an antelope until like its hooves fall off. They do incredible distance running, and it's the reason that they're able to do that is because every single day they put in the work. Spiritually, they put in the work to kind of clear their minds, so when they go on that run, they're able to kind of have that explosive nature to them, and they just practice all the time. So that's one ritual that they have. Number 2 is Rajapari. So these are, it's kind of like their version of sports. Basically what they have is they have a wooden ball and 2 teams, and it's like a relay race. They kick them back and forth to each other, and these things can last for days on end, and they will not give up. They will not get tired because they're so competitive within their tribes. This is kind of their time to get rid of their animalistic competitive drive that we all have within us. So this is a time for them to get really, really competitive. And from what I've seen and from what I've read about, it's really, really entertaining to watch. So that's another one of their rituals that they do. Konima, this is what they call their word for feeding God. So basically this is them offering up all of the gifts and the results that they have gotten, like through their practices. They set aside a time to give back to God, and they have multiple sacrifices. So it's very interesting that these people, they could go to the grocery store and just buy a couple steaks, throw them on the grill and cook them that way. But they put in just incredibly like long and hard hours of work in order to get that result, get that antelope. And then once they do, they actually offer some of it up to God, thanking him for the gifts that they've been given. So I thought that was very interesting. That's another one of their rituals. And the last one is a ritual called Teskinada. So it's basically, this is, they have it a couple times a year, just a complete drunken mess. They just get hammered and they hang out together, and from what I've heard, you can see some pretty insane stuff. They may have sex with each other's wives, they may get in fights, they may do crazy dance moves, and the point of it is that that's the time for them to just let go, and they just, whatever happens, happens. The next day, they can blame it on the beer, they can blame it on the alcohol, and they can get back to work. And this is just a time for them to just kind of get rid of all of the emotions that they may have been building up over the years, and they just let go and have fun for one night. So I just thought that was interesting. They have very, very strict rituals that they live by, and I believe this is what makes them the people they are, and this is what bonds them together so well as a tribe. Okay, so that they're kind of the inspiration of me doing this video. When I see the rituals that they have within their lives, it's kind of what has inspired me to make this video and set them for myself. And so the last part of this video that I'm going to talk about is some of the rituals that I have within my life. Okay, so a couple weeks ago is when I actually started doing this. One of the rituals is doing these videos. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to get out my video camera, and I've had these kind of topics researched and well thought out, and as you can see, I've got an outline, and I'm just going to keep on putting out these videos of just ideas that I have, practices that I use within my daily life. So that's one, is every 2 weeks I'm doing a new video. 6 days a week I go on a run. Depending on what day it is, I'm going to be focusing on either my speed, my distance, or my technique. So any day of the 6. They vary depending on what day it is, but I've committed to running 6 days a week. 6 days a week I meditate. So after I go on my run, I come back, I take a cold shower, and then I go meditate, and that's kind of my time to sit back and go introspective. It's my time to, whatever else is going on in the world around me, my meditation time is just 15 to 20 minutes that I can just have where I know there's no stresses going on. The only thing I'm focusing on is breathing and staring at this little black dot on the wall. So it's just my time to kind of decompress a little bit. Within business, with each of my clients, I'm doing a new brand marketing campaign and a new direct response marketing campaign. And they both fit within the marketing realm, but they're two completely opposite sides of the spectrum. Brand marketing is like kind of the foo-foo, fun to watch stuff. So I'll put together like a cool artistic video with some nice music in the background, and then I'll go on a PR hunt and try and get people to pick up the video and share it with their audience or comment on it, stuff like that. And then the direct response side is like, that's where we build email lists, we follow up with leads, and that's like the pay the bills kind of campaign. So I'm doing 2 of those brand new every single week for each of my clients, and it's a bitch. But that's my job, and so I'm in the experimentation phase of it right now. So what's important to me is putting out a new one every single week for each of those categories so that I can get that experience under my belt. Let's see, what are some others that I'm doing? And the last one that I'm doing is 4 nights a week. I'm going out and I'm just going to try and let loose and be social. I've been doing this for probably about a month now. And I know I have felt a complete difference in it. I used to, every single night that I go out, it's funny, every single night right before I go out, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'd rather just sit here and maybe read a book or curl up and watch the Royals. I just don't feel like going out. And yet every single time I force myself to go out, and I don't even drink. I usually maybe have 1 beer, but mostly just water. And I'll go out and I'll just have the funnest night. Dancing, talking with girls, talking with dudes, just having a good ass time. Just talking with everybody in the club, having fun with my buddies, laughing. And it's just a good time for me to kind of get outside of my comfort zone, because I'm more of a I'm more of a naturally shy and introspective kind of guy, and so it naturally I want to stay in and I want to curl up on that couch. But when I go out, it's been kind of a eye-opener of how much fun I can have when I go out. So those are a couple of my rituals, and I hope through kind of explaining the why behind I do them, the potential dangers of if you don't have rituals within your life, and then the inspiration with the Tarahumara tribe. I hope that you look them up. I hope you get inspired by some of the things I've said, and I hope you set some certain rituals in your life that will help you practice day in and day out the things that you want to do, so that when the time comes that you need to get a result in your life, whether it's a good job, a good test score, a good girlfriend, whatever it is, man, woman, I hope you can do it. So I hope you set those rituals, and I hope you put in the time and work every single day to make it happen. And I'll be here right beside you doing the same thing, and I'm going to keep putting out these videos. So we'll see you on the other side. That was stupid.